Episode 12, Vertigo. So, this one. I don't know what it was about this episode, but I was not a huge fan of this episode at all. I did not. I was really hoping it was going to be a lot better, but it just did not get me at all. From the opening scene with the goddamn shaking cam, like, I can't wait till that's not a thing anymore, because I hate the shaky cam. It is so terrible. All he is doing is running, and I can't even tell where he is running or what he is running from half the time, because it, like, cuts away from Oliver jumping. I really hate the shaky cam crap. It really bothers me. But yeah, this episode was not a very good one. So let's just hop right into it, because the less I got to talk about it, the better. A couple of, well, I guess not a couple, but some guest stars is we've got Seth Gable as the Count Vertigo. Yanina Guevara as Detective McKinnon Hall. And also, because we've seen him in a couple of episodes at this point, we got Eugene Lipnitsky as Alexei. Yeah, I think this is like the third episode he's been in, so it seems right to finally give him some due, especially since I know we might see him more in this season. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Yeah, so that's the cast we got. Quick rundown of the story is when Thea gets caught using a drug called Vertigo, Oliver decides to go and find the Count. Also convinces Laurel to defend Thea in the case and help her out. And then Felicity also shares some news about Walter and possibly why he was kidnapped and everything, and how it could involve his mom. So, a couple of things going on in this episode, but it doesn't really feel like things are going on in this episode at all. It's just... So, in the last episode, I didn't like the twist villain because we could see it from a mile away. But I feel like he was more of a threat than the Count. I mean, yeah, the Count's... well, let me give you my grade before we even get into the pros and cons here. So, I'm giving this a D+. It was pretty close to being a C-, but overall, I just couldn't find many good things about it. I guess some of the good things is Oliver really does love his sister. Like, he is going through so much. He is going through hell and back, especially after being hit with some of the drug. And for him to just keep fighting and going to try and do this for his sister, like, I'll give him props for that. That's definitely a pro in my eyes. Just the love that he shares for his sister. So I have to give it props for that. I got to give that a pro at least. So it could have possibly gone up a little bit higher, but there wasn't a lot much in here. The flashbacks, I still enjoyed the flashbacks. At this point, I kind of wish the flashbacks were just a main episode, you know? Just give me an episode of just a flashback section or something, you know? Like, I know it's a continuation of the last episode's flashbacks, but I'm really still enjoying them, and I really want more of them. I almost want more of the flashbacks than what's going on in the present day at this point after this episode. So yeah, I'm still loving the flashbacks. I'm still enjoying them. I want more of them, so I guess they're doing their job. Like, I want more of the island flashbacks than what's actually going on right now. And then something that was just a minor pro, only because we didn't get much of it. I like the Bratva. I really like when they come into an episode, and I really enjoy how it all works. Like, I like mob movies and like gangster movies and stuff like that. So adding the Russian mob in there, I'm a sucker for it. I do enjoy it and all that. And then I liked how Oliver had to prove, you know, he is Bratva, and that, you know, they can trust him, and that he doesn't want to break that connection because it's such a strong one, because that's basically how he can find other things without, you know, stuff that he can't do without it, so having them do it for him is a huge help. So that's a tie you don't want to lose. So that's I like that they keep bringing them in. I don't know how much more they're in the season. I don't really remember, but I do like what we're getting so far from them, and I like how we're getting pieces here and there about how Oliver got in there, and you know how he's a captain and everything like this. So I'm really liking that. I'm really enjoying that part of it. Yeah, that's all the pros I got. There was not really much in here. I mean, some of the cons that were minor was it just felt like a lot was going on, but not a lot was going on. You know, we have this Walter story thing going down. We've got Count Vertigo. We've got Laurel trying to defend Thea. Thea possibly going to jail. Oliver trying to deal with the Vertigo he's dealing with. Like, there is so much going on, but it feels like nothing is really going on, you know? I don't know how to explain it, but that's what it felt like. It felt like so much was going on, but nothing was going on at the exact same time. And then there were parts where I really didn't like Thea at all. It was like the first half of the episode where she was just completely like, she's like, I'll just go to jail. I'll do this because I'm going to hurt my mom. Like, you're going to go to jail because you're going to try and stick it to Mama Queen. Like, I get that she's lying to you and you're upset about it, but how is going to jail going to hurt her? If anything, that's going to hurt you more, and you might get beat up in jail, you know? There's no money talk there. So, yeah, I just, at the real beginning, and then it's not even a con, it's a minor con, which I'm not going to add it onto the cons here, because it wasn't in there for the whole thing. Like, she finally does come to her senses and realizes, okay, well, I'm being dumb, let me stop doing that. So, but yeah, I was kind of worried there. I actually did write it down as a con at first because of how, you know, much she was being a biatch for no reason. Like, Oliver's just trying to help you, and you're just going, I just rather go to jail, you know, and like, why, Thea? I don't really want to hate you. I haven't hated you so far, but this episode came pretty close to me putting you down as a full con and giving you the props of me hating you. And speaking of people who I did not like in this episode, Detective Lance. Like, I hate that all of his focus and energy is just to hating Oliver. Like, even after Oliver was there talking to Detective Hall and them just catching up and then asking questions about the Count, not doing anything else, just basically asking what he can do to help. And Detective Lance is like, what do you want? What do you want? Huh? What does he want? Why don't you tell him to go away? Like, can you ease the back up? Like, can you back up, ease off something? Because Jesus. Like, I get it. Even Laurel's at the point where she's like, you need to stop blaming them for everything, you know? Like, I did blame them for everything. I blamed Oliver for everything. I thought everything was his fault for why Sarah's dead, but it's not his fault, you know? Sarah did bad things too, and this is why you need to stop. But God, like, just the hatred he has for him is, like, annoying at this point. It's like watching the Rocky series and how terrible of a person Paulie is to Adrian. That is the level that Detective Lance is getting to, you know? And I don't care if he hates Oliver, but my God, your energy towards hating him is ridiculous. It's like hating a coworker so much where they're like struggling to pick up something or do something. You're like, I ain't gonna freaking help that guy. That guy can go and suffer. I don't give a crap. We can all fail if we want. Like, I get it. You don't like him. He killed your daughter. Like, just enough. Like, you can put your hatred to a side, but no, it's just every time you see him or anyone talks about him, you have to, like, blow up and have a, you know, volcano eruption on him. And it's just, I'm so sick of it at this point now. 12 episodes in, and almost every time we see Detective Lance, he's being a dick to him. And I get it. You don't have to like him, but you can get over it at this point, you know? Like, stop letting that be your main focus. I'm just so tired of seeing it, and I'm just annoyed by it at this point, you know? I almost don't want Detective Lance in any episodes because you know exactly how he's going to act. And I don't want to blame the actor on that because I don't know if, you know, he was just told, like, hey, Detective Lance is gonna hate this guy. Like, I'm over it at this point. I'm kind of tired of it, and I don't know if I'm gonna if he is in any other episodes, and he continues to keep acting like this, I don't know if I'm just gonna throw it on there as a con, or leave it as a minor con, but at this point, I'm over it. I'm so sick of it at this point. I'm kind of tired of Detective Lance's hate boner towards Oliver. Count Vertigo. I like the idea of his drugs and how, in its purest form, it can make you feel like you're in excruciating pain. I like the idea of that. I just didn't like the villain, you know? I don't know in the comics what exactly he is like. I don't think he does drugs or anything like that. I think it's something, you know, hypnotizing type feels. I don't know 100%. I don't even know him much as a character. He's one of those characters I really don't even know much even after watching the show and getting more into comics. But yeah, I just didn't like this villain at all, you know? He didn't seem threatening. If anything, his drugs seemed more threatening, and how it takes Oliver almost out of commission is, you know, more impressive than this guy. And I just think he was so goofy in this episode, and I couldn't take him serious at all. Like, I couldn't see him as, like, this drug kingpin at all, you know? I just didn't get that sense from him at all. And I don't know if that's what made it. You know, I didn't know if it's because he came off so goofy, and I was like, well, I'm not really threatened by you at all, so scary. And, like, it's an interesting way on how he gets his name, but it didn't do anything for me. And yeah, he was just a weak villain in this episode, and at the end of it, he ends up going crazy. So maybe if he comes back ever, or if he, you know, if he doesn't die, but if he does come back, you know, maybe he'll come back a little bit better and not so but yeah. And then also Oliver's stubbornness. Like, the part of it I do like is him being so just determined to try and help his sister, but at the same time he's so determined to help his sister, he's also being blinded by it too, you know? He's so stubborn and so focused on trying to catch this guy that he's not realizing what he's doing at all, you know? He's making mistakes, still going out there as the Arrow and making mistakes because he cannot focus straight, you know? He's all over the place because the Vertigo hasn't left the system. I get why he went out there and did it, but at the same time, like, maybe let Diggle handle this, you know? Diggle's more than capable of doing it. Maybe you should have had Diggle and you rest and just trust that Diggle can get this done. Because you being a complete hot mess isn't helping anybody here at all, you know? It's just making things worse, and then you almost got caught by the police, and now you possibly screwed up Count Vertigo, and, you know, who knows what's going to happen to that guy. So now even Detective Lance, he is even more of a hate boner towards you, which is even more aggravating, you know? So it's just, at some point, you need to learn to let Diggle handle some shit, too. And, you know, still being stubborn on the whole Felicity thing, just let her into the group. She clearly has skills. She's calling you on their bullshit. Even Diggle was like, your excuses are starting to get worse. And then you were like, yeah, I know. Like, they are just getting so terrible. Like, that scene where she's like, well, why is it in syringes if it's an energy drink and I'm out of sports bottles? That was the best thing you could have came up with. It's just stupid. It's stupid, and I'm just over your stubbornness at this point. Maybe it's just because I hate Detective Lance at this point, but yeah, it's the stubbornness in this one really was a struggle, and like, it just made me see. All I was saying to myself is, why is he doing this? Let Diggle handle this. Let Diggle handle it. Let Diggle handle it. But yeah, Oliver's got to be Oliver, and he's got to be stubborn in some way. So that was episode 12, and we hit a rough patch already. 2 episodes in, and we've hit a rough patch here on episode 12. You know, first 10, they had their ups and downs, and I think it took until, what, episode 3, when the Deadshot episode came? I'd say this one was worse than the Deadshot episode, because I liked Deadshot more than I liked Count Vertigo in this one. So yeah, this was a rough one, so I'm only hoping it could get better. Hopefully this was the low point, and then we just keep going above now. So we'll see what ends up happening. I can only have some faith. Can't really lose my faith on it, but we'll see what happens. See you in the next video. Hope you do well, and I will catch you later.